Thanks for staying with us. So today is public holiday for May Day, otherwise known as Workers' Day. Sadly, a young Nigerian job seeker that was hoping to become a worker, Iniobong Umoren, in her quest to make ends meet, have allegedly been raped, murdered, buried by suspected fake job recruiters. Police have since commenced investigation and have confirmed the arrest of 2 suspects. The ugly incident have been gathering quite a bit of concern and outrage across major platforms. Now, we have the hashtag Find Iniobong Umoren and Justice for Iniobong. So, now, this is a story lots of Nigerians are quite familiar with, because many Nigerians are lamenting because many fake job recruiters out there take advantage of job seekers. So what are your thoughts on this? And I'd like to give a few minutes to open our phone lines for those of you who have experienced such to call us. This is not the first time we're seeing this. We've seen that there's that young lady many years ago that something similar did happen to her. So you can call us on 091-390-76948. You can also call us on 081-270-53687. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourTVC so we can read your tweets. This was quite a disturbing story. I mean, this is a young girl. I mean, what broke me was that T-shirt she wore. 8 years, I mean, was it 4 years, 8 semesters, you know, she was graduating and she was excited about finally coming to the point of looking for a job. And then these people took advantage of her. Let me come to you, your thoughts when you heard that story, your initial thoughts.
Okay,
Mariam?
so I followed the story, unfortunately, at the time when they were still looking for her, when we were all still hoping that somehow she would be found. It is really, truly a heartbreaking story. Because I remember when I first heard something, you know, I thought, oh, she's been found, you know. But then to hear the circumstances in which she was found. I know that we're trying to also couch this about fake recruiters, but I want to also put it more on the fact that, because I tweeted about this and I was like, when it comes to rape, when it comes to abuse of women, when it comes to murder of women, many times we ask the questions immediately. What was she wearing? Where was she? Where did she go? What was she doing? Who was she with, you know? And somehow take away from the perpetrator himself or themselves. And in this case, this was a girl that did everything right. She told people where she was going. She put on the location on her phone to show where she was headed. She gave them the address, the name of the person. She did everything right. She was not going to a club or coming from a club. She was going in search of a job. And then these people, these men, I think there's one particular person, a suspect, and there's supposed to be a cousin and a father involved. I watched the police say that they were able to find her. They deposited her body at the morgue. Really sad that people are able to just, so it's the audacity for me in broad daylight. You think in this day and age with mobile devices and social media that you can actually just call up someone, rape them and kill them and think you can get away with it. We thank God for the many Nigerians who, when her friends spoke up, everybody was on ground, you know, trying in different ways to make sure that she was found. And I think it was because of the insistence of Nigeria, especially on social media, that this was quickly uncovered. Because it would have gone like many other stories of someone has gone missing and nothing was done.
So it's that audacity you talked about earlier, because this has happened to many people and has just been happened and swept under the carpet. So I'm happy that in this situation, and that's why I want us to also understand the importance of social media. Yes, we've seen where people have young girls. I mean, I remember there's a young girl, I'm trying to remember which school she left from, that this happened. She went to, I think it was Port Harcourt, many years ago. This same story, and she was found dead. And then we didn't have as much social media attention as this at the time. But how could she have, what else could she have done to protect herself, BC? What else? I mean, as a young person, I mean, and you're into these kind of things, how can would you advise her into, what else can a young person do?
You can't advise if you have not been there, if you have not experienced it. So I remember when I just finished from school, from NYSC, and then I was looking for a job. I remember going to several places to go for one interview or the other, and there was this particular place I went to. When I got there, it was an uncompleted building. I looked around. I didn't know what was happening. I saw some boys outside. So I asked them, please, I came for an interview here. They said, go inside. I said, but this is an uncompleted building. They said, go inside. Shebi, you came to look for a job. Go inside. But my spirit was telling me something was fishy about this. And the address was stated there, everything. I submitted CV, they had responded to me. I just turned back. Thankfully, the bike that brought me was still standing. So I just said, let's go back. And when I go home, I was like, I didn't feel good about this environment. I just knew there was something. What if I had gone there and this sort of thing had happened? You can't tell because right now you're in a place of desperation. There are no jobs. There are no jobs. You have finished school. Your parents are looking up to you. Okay, we have sent you to school. It's time to come and start taking care of us now. And you are going from one job hunt to another. A lot of things will not come to your mind because you need it. You are desperate. There is no hope. We are in a society where it's more like hopelessness. The people who have gone to school do not have jobs. And so every little opportunity that you get, you want to go there and put in the effort. So that God, and she made a prayer. I saw that post where she asked God to help her, that she's looking for a job. And this sort of thing happened. I was reading the papers this morning. The alleged rapist had been found, and he confessed to be a serial rapist. Now, why I'm pointing this out is, you know, when people come out to say they have been raped, we know what happens. Everybody comes for their jugular. Why? After how many years? Why are you not speaking up now? These are some of the ripple effects. Because if those people he has raped before had spoken up, he would have been caught
earlier.
He would have been taken away from the society. This wouldn't have happened. So when we keep questioning people who come out to say, I have been raped or I was raped, and we make them feel insecure, we make them feel bad for what has happened to them, a lot of people will not come out. The ripple effect is that those perpetrators go scot-free
and continue
to become emboldened to murder.
And they continue that. My heart goes out to the family of Iniobong Umoren. May God give them the fortitude to bear the loss. It's not something you can explain to a parent. We don't even know the family background. We don't know how invested the parents have been to ensure that this girl comes out of school.
What hurts the most, BC, I think is what Mariam said, that she did everything right.
Yeah.
I mean, as a mother, as a sister, as an aunt, you advise young ladies and even young boys, this is what you do. Do this, you know, after you go to school, go online, be aggressive about your job search, you know, tell everybody, you know, have your friends, or have that community of people that are looking for jobs. And she did everything right.
She did.
Unfortunately, people like this. So it's not about her now. It's about the perpetrators that we're allowed to walk the streets.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's when you asked, you said, how do you advise someone to do it? You don't advise. It's not, the advice is for those who are rapists. The advice is for those who are rape apologists.
Yes.
The advice is for those who are murderers and those who apologize for them.
And those who make excuses for them, because there are people, oh, he raped, let us just, family problem, let us just come.
So the advice is, as they said, when it happens once, when they're even unsure of what they're doing, find them and prosecute them immediately. Because what you do is you embolden them, you turn them into murderers. You turn them into a cartel. Before you know it, they call one more person, two more. After all, they've done it so easily and they've gotten away with it. When we excuse them, we create a society that excuses this sort of thing. And then we come on the other hand and we're crying because someone has been murdered. Meanwhile, we're all complicit when we give excuses for when it's rape, as we say, just rape, she can get over it. But this is what happens, this is what it degenerates to.
Mariah, you asked the question earlier, what sort of advice would I give to a young person out there? You know, I've realized that sometimes we expect that people are like us. We pay attention to the parts of us in other people. We want to see the good in everybody. So because you are an honest person, you assume that everybody else is honest. But if we open our eyes to start looking at the reality on ground, not what we think it should be, it will help us. So, for instance, the way the world is now, it will be unfair or unheard of that you as a young lady or a young man, you're not cautious. You're not paying attention to the environment. Forget about desperation. There are certain measures that all these things are opening our eyes to see that you need to put in place. So you need to find out, is there a website? Is there this? Is there that? You need to ask questions from other people. We need to start becoming conscious and less trusting because of the way the situation is.
Unfortunately, we need to wrap up on this. But as I said, our hearts go out to the families. It's a painful, painful thing for a family to go through. A young girl who struggled to pay her school fees all through, support her through her education. Time for her to get a job, and some murderers took her life. And I think this should also be a wake-up call to what we said earlier, that if you know a rapist or you are, you know of somebody who has raped, if you let that person go scot-free, you are creating these people. You are creating these people who are going to rape somebody you might even know in future. So the earlier we get them arrested, get them off the streets, the better for the future of our young people. Let's go on a break. When we come back, okay, I'm told we have a call. Yakub, are you there? Thanks for calling. Yakub, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Morayo, this is so sad. This is so sad. As obviously said earlier, what kind of advice and then you talk to the parent now? Is it someone going to tell the parent that it has happened to him or her before? You see, Morayo, you know, where I get problem with this kind of a situation is this. One, Morayo, these people have already confessed that they did this now. They raped this lady and then they end up being killed. Now, they have been caught. Morayo, when they charge them to court, listen to me very well. When they charge them to court now, the next thing the judge will do is that maybe prevention giving them a life imprisonment. When they go to that prison, Morayo, one nonsense governor will come one day, all because of his or her birthday or birthday of his wife, will send these people free. Morayo, that is why this country still remain like this. So me, personal opinion, I may be wrong. This kind of people does this now. The thing that they're supposed to do to them is that they're supposed to tie them on the trailer, drag them until they pass on, or they kill them by fire hanging. Because leaving them someday, somewhere, someday is going to come, a governor will set them free. That is if they give them life in prison. It is not good.
Thank you very much.
It is all about myself.
You see, you know, what Yakub saying is something that hurts a lot of people. Not even just the birthdays. There can be a jailbreak.
Yeah,
just like in Imo State. You know, and these who are set free. It's a painful.
But that's one. So it may also make people feel that, oh, these people are already criminals. But these were, if you see the picture,
young guys,
young-looking, nice-looking
decent
person,
guy, yeah.
decent-looking person. So they are your friends. People they have friends, they have neighbors, they live in a community. Yeah. People know them. So when you do not also report, you know how when you're growing up and your parents notice that you're hanging out to a certain crowd, they'll be like birds of a feather flock together. Do you understand? So if you are there, the fact that you're not the one that did it, that you're aware that it's happening and you're friends with the person that's doing this, you're part of it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to another topic. Our hearts go out again to the families. May God indeed give them the fortitude to bear this loss. Stay with us. We'll be right back.